What you will learn for today is all about deriving quadratic function given its zeros or roots. So the difference of this lesson from our previous lesson is that wala tayong given a graph for the examples later, but rather just the values of the zeros or the roots of our given quadratic function. So just to start, let's have this recall. So we have x-intercept roots or zeros. So once again, the x-intercept is also called as zeros or roots of the function. So itong tatlong words na to is magkakapares lang. So these are the values of x when y is equal to 0. So as you recall before, di ba, in a Cartesian plane wherein you'll be having the parabola or the graph of a quadratic function, this is called the x-intercept, the zeros, or the roots. These are the points wherein our y is equal to 0. So as we remember, this is x sub 1, 0, and this is x sub 2, 0. So these are the points where your y are equal to 0. So to find the roots of a quadratic function, we have to set our y to 0. Thus, our general form y is equal to ax squared plus bx plus c will be 0 is equal to ax squared plus bx plus c. So kung titingnan nyo, just to get the roots, we have to set the y to 0. So using the symmetric property, we can fix this one and make it ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0, which is actually our quadratic equation standard form. So we'll use solving quadratic equation to solve for the roots of a quadratic function. And just to elaborate on that, let's have some examples. So the instruction says find the roots of the following quadratic function. So example number 1, we have the given y is equal to x squared minus 5x plus 6. So ano yung pwede natin gawin sa una? So we have to set our y to 0 kasi nga kailangan natin mahanap yung x-intercept o yung roots ng itong quadratic function na to. So using symmetric property, we'll try to make it a quadratic equation that looks like x squared minus 5x plus 6 is equal to 0. So from this, gagamit tayo ng factoring para malaman yung factors nitong quadratic equation na to. So ano ngayon yung dalawang numbers that if we try to multiply, we'll be having a product of positive 6 and a sum of negative 5. So the clue here is that 6 is positive. So and the sum is negative. That means both of the factors will be negative kasi negative times negative magiging positive. But if you add those two negative, magiging negative 5 siya dapat. So alam natin na negative sila pareho. So we can set both of these as x minus times x minus. Yung number na lang yung kulang natin. So um, pwede kaya yung 1 times 6, negative 1 times negative 6 is positive 6. But negative 1 plus negative 6 is not negative 5. So I think we'll have to have the factors that is negative 2 and negative 3. If you multiply these two factors, the answer is positive 6. And if you add them, the answer is negative 5. So yan yung idea natin ng factoring. And we got the factors x minus 2 times x minus 3. So from that, we'll try to solve for the two values of x by separating them. So we have two equations now. X minus 2 is equal to 0 and x minus 3 is equal to 0. So having that, we can add 2 on this left equation. We can add 2 for both sides, making this one 0. And may iwan na lang dito si x. Then 0 plus 2 is positive 2. Therefore, the value or one value of x is 2. And from this side, we can add 3 for both sides, making this one equal to 0. Therefore, our x in this equation will be equal to 3 because 0 plus 3 is 3. Having that says we have two roots on this given quadratic function. So the first root is 2 and the second root is 3. Next, so let's try to have another example for this one. So what if we're given with the quadratic function y is equal to x squared plus 7x minus 18. So, ganun pa rin yung process. The first step is to make your y be equal to 0. And after that, we have to make it the same as the standard form of our quadratic equation. So, lipat lang natin yung 0 sa kabila. So, ganyan lang magiging itsura niya. Then, right after that, we can do solving of quadratic equation by factoring. So, hanap ulit tayo ng factors na may product na negative 18 and may sum na positive 7. So, since yung C natin is negative, we can identify that the factors will be having one that is positive and one that is negative. Tapos, ang isa pang clue dyan is yung sum natin is positive. So, yung mas malaking factor natin dito is positive. So, ano kaya yung dalawang number if we multiply? The answer is negative 18. So, we can have the factors 2 and 9. So, 2 times 9 is 18. Ang tanong na lang, sino dun yung positive, sino dun yung negative. Since 7 is positive, mas malaki si 9, kaya siya yung magiging positive and dito si 2. 'Di ba? 9 minus 2, positive 7. Pasok siya. So our factors now will be x plus 9 times x minus 2. Then, to get the roots, all we need to do is to have these two equations separating x plus 9 equal to 0 and x minus 2 is equal to 0. Ito yung tinatawag natin na zero product property if you still remember. So, yan. So, by that, on this side, we can subtract 9 for both sides. Yan. So, 9. So, this one will become 0. Therefore, x here will be equal to negative 9. Next, if we add 2 naman for both sides, on this equation, we can have this one as 0. Therefore, x is equal to positive 2 on this side. So once again, we will have two roots on this quadratic function. The first root is negative 9 and the second root is positive 2. And that's how we find or solve the roots of the following quadratic function.